Great. It looks like we are recording live. Here we are. Welcome everyone who is joining. This is Libby Hoppy with Home Office. And of course, you probably know and see Steve Drapalski.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, we are excited to join you today for a Teach Me webinar today on getting bookings. So lots of participants coming in here. There's going to be quite a few people joining. We had a number of registrants. I love seeing everyone saying hello already in the chat. I am going to, before we dive too far in, go through a couple housekeeping items in terms of how to interact with us during today's webinar. Looks like so many of you already know one of the best ways to communicate with us is in the chat. The chat is really where you can communicate and share ideas and say hello. Would love to see all of you tell me where you're joining us from today and how long you've been with Pampered Chef, if you're a new consultant or you've been with us for some time. Use the chat to share ideas, resources throughout our webinar today. You'll also see, though, that we have a Q&A function. My request is that if you have a specific question that you would like answered by me or Steve or our other panelists today, to use the Q&A function. So that will send a question directly to us that either we can answer live today or that we can answer in a follow-up conversation with you all. So specific questions, please put those into the Q&A. We'll do quick introductions. My name is Libby Hoppy. I am the Director of Field Success and International Expansion here at Pampered Chef's Home Office. And joining me, of course, is Steve Drapalski, National Executive Director. And Steve, would you like to introduce yourself and share a little bit with those joining us today?
Yeah, sure. So hi, everybody. Welcome to our webinar. I'm Steve Drapalski. I'm from Annapolis, Maryland. I've been with Pampered Chef for about 4 years. And my story kind of started where I was whining to a friend back in 2015 about bills. And she was a consultant at the time. And she thought I would be great at this business because of how loud and obnoxious I was. So she said, you'd be great in people's houses. So I said, okay, I'll think about this. Not sure how to take that. And back then, virtual parties were kind of just starting out. And so I actually waited an entire year until I actually signed up. And I originally started this business, yes, to pay bills and have extra money, but the people are really why I stay, right? I love the support we receive from this company, and I really value the friendships that I've made with my team members and the financial freedom that I've helped them to be able to have. So, yeah.
That's great. And our field success team here at Pampered Chef is focused on supporting all of our consultants, no matter where you're at in your business. So many people here who look like you're fairly new to the business, but I also see a few familiar names who have been with Pampered Chef for quite some time. So whether you're a new consultant or a national executive director, we're here to support you, our field success team. Joining me on the call as well, who's going to be helping with the Q&A, as well as we'll be sending a few messages in the chat as Steve and I are sharing on the webinar, are 3 people from our field success team who you may know and be familiar with. That's Danny Hubner, Jackie Blest, and Kylie Wilcher. They will be, again, answering questions throughout our webinar and in follow-up conversations with you as well. So let's quickly get into the agenda and what we're going to review today. And what I really want to start with is saying it's April 1st, first day of a new month, and we're so happy that you're here on our weekly Teach Me webinar. So we have increased our number of webinars that we are doing to support you in your business right now, because we know that the situation on April 1st feels a little bit different probably than the situation on March 1st and how you felt entering a new month. And so while this is probably a little bit of an uncertain time for you, our goal is to continue to support you through this time so you can keep earning money, supporting you and your family, supporting teams, and most importantly, to help each other, right? Help each other in our communities, help each other in this consultant community that's so important, and part of what I love the most about what I do is seeing that type of community. I think a webinar on getting bookings is really important right now because it really is probably one of the key things that you should be focused on. And it's also probably one of the things that you may be, especially if you're new to the business, that you have a lot of questions about, and that you may also be hearing a few objections. So that's why we wanted to spend some time and focus specifically on this topic of bookings to kick off our month of March. And Steve, what else do you think is important to remember about your business right now as we launch into a brand new month here at Pampered Chef?
Yeah, so Libby and I are going to provide you with some great practical tips on this call. But before we really dive in, I just want you to kind of take a breath, right? Take a breath and just be open to hearing some new ideas, right? Because having success with your Pampered Chef business in any climate, but especially now more than ever, will depend on you turning your mindset towards the idea of growth and positivity, truly.
Yeah, agreed. And so you can see that our agenda for today, we're going to cover a lot on bookings. We're also going to be focusing quite a bit on virtual parties. And so I wanted to go ahead and share that at the beginning, given that we've made the recommendation to shift your business to a virtual party right now, okay? But if you are a new consultant and you're just getting started and you have questions on bookings overall, or you're an existing consultant, a great place to start is with Dash. So if you haven't started looking at what resources are available to you for booking parties, Dash is a great place to go. For new consultants, you can see that there's a section on Dash called Getting Started. A lot of what we're going to be sharing today is a lot of repeat information that you may see if you've taken Dash, but Steve's here and he's going to be adding and sharing some more ideas in terms of how you bring these concepts to life. We will be focusing our conversation on virtual parties, and you can see even more virtual party training in the party training section on Dash as well. Right, so you may have additional questions about getting bookings in person and about other strategies about getting bookings in the future. And I would absolutely recommend to go take our party training on Dash if you haven't yet. But for now, we're really going to be focusing virtual parties. One last thing I wanted to mention, because I see the question coming in and Kylie's been answering them, we are recording this webinar. So you will be able to watch a playback if you want to see what we shared, or you want to try to remember a few things that we shared, or if you want to share the playback later with your teams or other consultants who you think might benefit from this information. So in terms of the importance of booking parties right now, one of the things we often say here at Pampered Chef is that bookings are the lifeline of your business. Bookings are where the business starts. Quick fact is that 80% of bookings actually come from existing bookings within your parties. So we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about how to get bookings from those parties. We also at Pampered Chef talk about our model for success, specifically for new consultants, but really for everyone. It's called our 4-in-1 model. And what we say is that a foundation to success is that for every 4 parties you book, you should be adding 1 person to your team. So for every 4, add 1 more. And this is really the foundation of success. And if you're regularly booking 4 parties and adding 1 person to your team, and for a new consultant, you could start with a goal of doing that monthly, you will see that the more people you get in front of and the more people you're talking to during those 4 parties enable you to talk more about future parties and the business opportunities with more people. So Steve, I know that you think about this a lot, that a strong April leads to a strong May, right? So every month is important in your business. So, how else do you think about the importance of bookings?
Yeah, so in the climate that we're in, for those of you who are new, it can be easy right now to not get started, right? For those of you who are current consultants, you might think now is the time to take a break. You might say, I'm going to wait until all of this that's happening in the world is over, right? Guys, that could ultimately, unfortunately, be months. And, your friends and family need our products and mealtime solutions now more than ever before. I can't tell you the number of guests in my parties and hosts that say this was such a welcome distraction, this virtual party. And honestly, what we do now will affect our business 30, 60, 90 days from now. And people are cooking now more than ever, and they just need what we have to offer, truly.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And so now when we talk about one of the key things that our consultants have in order to help get bookings is what our offers are. So it is the first of the month, so wanted to take a few minutes to talk about what those offers look like. In any given month, home office provides consultants with offers in 3 general areas: booking offers, selling offers, and recruiting offers. So selling and recruiting, we're not going to focus as much on today. We will focus on that, or have focused on those in other webinars. And Steve certainly probably has some ideas there that he could share maybe throughout our webinar today. But we do want to focus a little bit today, of course, on the booking offer for April. So in the month of April, there are a few really important reasons that you might want to party virtually this month. So the first is our host offer. So in addition to the fact that anyone who hosts can get our standard host rewards this month only, they could also get 60% off the quick cooker or the deluxe cooking blender. On top of that, we are doing an additional host bonus. And Kylie, if you want to go to the next slide, we'll probably be able to see this in a little more detail. Our additional host bonus is for any parties for consultants, or I'm sorry, for hosts that land between that $200 to $649 range in the US, or $200 to $749 in Canada. Your host will receive an extra $50 in free product value this month. For parties at that $650 level or the $750 level in Canada, they receive an extra $100 in free product value this month. It's a really great offer and something that doesn't come along very often, but we know that hosts right now are looking for additional opportunities and probably ways to save even more money on products. And so the host offer this month is intended to help you reach out to customers so that you can help share more of those mealtime solutions with them this month. In addition, we're going to keep talking about some of the other offers or some of the other party types throughout this webinar, including cooking with kids and pantry kitchen. So we'll reserve some of our conversations around the party types for later in this webinar. And then finally, our Roundup from the Heart fundraisers. I'll go into a little bit more detail right here on Roundup from the Heart fundraisers. Feeding America and Food Bakes Canada fundraisers are a really good way to help you kickstart your business right now. So we know that partnering with Feeding America and Food Bakes Canada is something that we at Home Office have always thought is important. And we've seen so many consultants already booking fundraisers where for the month of April, the contribution is actually double. So you can find more information about the change to these Roundup from the Heart fundraisers in the monthly focus. If you didn't see the monthly focus email that came out this morning, I highly recommend you check it out. Check out the webpage that details all the different offers that we have right now, including this fantastic offer for fundraisers that we're doing not only through the month of March, but we're extending that into the month of April. Steve and I are going to share a few more details on how to use fundraisers to secure bookings a little bit later in our webinar. So what we really want to start with is getting your first bookings. So I'm seeing in the chat some of you new consultants. And so one of the first things that you always are probably thinking about is how do I get those first parties on the books? And so the very first place to start is with a launch list. Okay, so a launch list is also a task and dash in the Getting Started program. So we just shared a few ideas on what we have in terms of April offers. So I want everyone to do a quick little exercise right now, okay? And so a launch list is what are the types of people, or who are the people in your life who you would reach out to right now who might be interested in what we have to offer. So let's think through some of those offers that we just talked about. Who do you know who may be interested in a quick cooker or deluxe cooking blender or any of our host offers that are available this month at a discount? And write down some names. They can be friends, they can be acquaintances, or they can be just people you know who might be struggling right now and who would really appreciate a discount, right? Who's someone, or who are a few people you know who are looking for ideas on how to use all of that food they have in their pantry to make meals at home? And write down a few names of people you think would be desperate for some of your instruction and some of your recipe sharing. And who's someone you know who would be interested in helping support Feeding America or Food Banks Canada with a Roundup from the Heart fundraiser, okay? And so what you're really doing is you're starting to identify potential hosts. That's the first thing that you're doing. Who are people who you know right now who might be interested in what you have to offer, okay? Then you want to reach out and build interest. And what I want to share here, and what Steve does so well, and that he's going to talk about, is being authentic, right? Building relationships. He's going to talk about how many touch points he generally has when he's reaching out to people, right? One of the best ways to build interest and excitement is to reach out to those people on your list and make it a really individual reach out, right? So it's not a mass text, it's not a mass email. Rather, what we're talking about in reaching out and building interest is knowing exactly what's happening in someone's life and making it feel relevant to them when you reach out and you say, hey, you've got a lot going on right now. This might be a great time to get you and a few of your friends together for a Pampered Chef online party that could help take your mind off some of what's happening and might be a welcome distraction. We'll share recipes. We'll talk about how to take all of those foods sitting in your pantry and make some healthy meals for your family. What do you say? And the last piece in terms of getting your first bookings is securing a date. And again, your approach to this, you want to make sure is personalized and genuine. Make sure you tell your host that you understand that there are other things happening and they may have kids at home, but remind them why you thought about them. Reference a specific theme or a specific recipe they might like. And remember, highlight what's in it for them and their friends, and really that hosting is fun and easy. And then offer those specific dates that you have open for hosting. You know, I saw a few consultants sharing on social media in the last few weeks. They actually have more time on their hands than they had before, right? Their schedules opened up just a little bit in April. No travel plans, no kids sports, and more time to help share mealtime ideas with hosts. And remember, not everyone is going to say yes, right? You will hear no. And Steve's going to share a little bit about how you don't take that personally. And also, Steve, if you want to share some other ideas about how those first bookings are really an entry point to sharing your new business.
Yeah, so it's really important for you to make sure that you are, like Libby said, being super authentic with everyone. And a great way to do this, I find, for my new consultants, and really the way I help them in this current environment to start strong, is providing them with a bingo card to post on their personal wall that they can provide a link between what products and solutions their new business offers and the needs of their soon-to-be, right, customers. And just to preface, a lot of the graphics that you'll see that are tied to what I'm sharing are team members of mine that create things for our organization, or ideas I have found. So the great part about this business is it's a big sharing community, right? So this bingo card you see here has slots to fill in it related to the host special for April, as we just started, right, April today. Hosts can get the deluxe cooking blender or quick cooker, as Libby mentioned, 60% off with a qualifying party of $200 or more. So on the card here, you'll see things like stocked up on applesauce, loves almond butter, does not own an Instant Pot, right? So these are all entry points to a new consultant's new business and its products without providing a service, right? Versus just asking people to book a party. In my opinion, service is what equals eventual sales, right? You will also see spaces to fill related to different things that we are all doing now since we are tethered to our homes indoors, right? So if you're an existing consultant, you can totally do this too. Offer an entry to a prize for all who claim a spot, and it could be something as simple as an e-cookbook, which you can find on our on Consultants Corner, and then reply to their comment on which spot they claimed, thanking them and telling them you'll be messaging them and where to find the message in their inbox. Once you connect with them on Messenger, you can reference what slot they took and then explain that you're a new consultant, or a consultant at all perhaps, and that you can help them make that fresh almond milk, for example, with our amazing deluxe cooking blender, and then dive into hosting can help them get that deeply discounted in April, all while sharing how excited you are to be a new consultant or a consultant at all, right? And if you're not tech savvy, right, creating a bingo card like this, it really isn't that hard. If you type in create bingo sheet in Google, you will see a plethora of free options that basically do it for you. You just have to kind of take these ideas and think about what correlates with the special for the month, and then you can kind of create it. Super simple. And as people claim spots, you can post on your Facebook and cross off the different spots that have been taken to update and create excitement around your bingo card almost being full. And kind of what Libby had said, for every 12 to 15 people you reach out to, you will likely get one party book, right? So think about this bingo sheet. You don't want to do just one bingo sheet. Once you get the one bingo sheet filled, you do another one, right? Because the more people you contact, the more exchanges you have, the more likely someone is to say yes, and you're ready to go to start your business, right? Or grow it if you're a consultant right now.
That's great, Steve. Great ideas. And I see a lot of people asking questions. I love that Steve's like, yep, just go to Google, say there's a bingo sheet and make it unique to you, right? Steve probably has some things on his bingo sheet that might not be as relevant to you, right? And so it's always about creating something interesting and unique as a way to introduce yourself as a Pampered Chef consultant and kind of reach out to some of those people either on social media or through email or through text message to start to generate interest in your business as a Pampered Chef consultant early on. So we're going to talk and spend a little bit more time here on getting bookings from bookings. So again, in terms of getting started and getting some of your first bookings on the calendar, I highly recommend reviewing our Dash course on getting started, and you'll see more ideas there. But thank you, Steve, for sharing that really good one on the bingo card. So in terms of getting bookings from bookings, there's a few things you can do. So I'm going to just kind of briefly review some of these, and then Steve's going to share some really great ideas on how he brings this to life. So the first is partnering with your host. So one thing that we have here at Pampered Chef is what's called a future party pick. So when you're regularly working with your host, and you're talking with your host, always ask that host about other people and their friends in the party that they think might be interested in booking in the future. A future party pick is a great tool for partnering with your host and securing bookings, because if you're an existing host and someone books a party from your party, that original host will get to pick something at the follow-up party at 50% off. So it's really a win-win, right? It's a win for the host who helps secure another booking, but she gets to attend that next party and actually gets a discount on one product. Steve's going to share a couple other ideas or another idea on how to partner with hosts in just a second. The second is finding rockstar guests, and I'm going to share a little bit more about finding rockstar guests, and so will Steve, and then finally how to reach out after a party. So in terms of partnering with your host, Steve, I think you have a few specific ideas on what this looks like.
Yeah, so if you are not showing up and working for your host, right, in their party, right, to help it be the best possible experience for them and their guests, your host will not work for you. And when I say work, I mean help you secure future bookings, right? Host coaching is a super important part of ensuring you book parties from your parties. And you definitely want to dive into the host coaching material that is on Dash for more information, or talk to your direct recruiter and they can help you with that, because that's not the focus of today's webinar. But if you have parties running or coming up, host challenges are a way you can work with your active hosts to get more parties booked. So how does this work, right? You want to challenge your host to get 3 friends to book parties from their party. You always want at least one party to replace the current one and one to grow your business, right? And it's a great way to extend their host rewards, as Libby said. Let them know that for each party book, they get a future party pick where they can pick one item 50% off. And this is the Pampered Chef benefit, guys, that we as consultants often forget to market. Sometimes even me, okay? They're usually so excited to shop with their rewards for their party now that they forget this future perk, which really can allow them to spread out their funds in terms of what they want from their wish list, especially during this challenging environment, right? And then some consultants also offer an extra little gift when the host reaches 3 parties booked, like a free seasoning, a rub, or free shipping. You don't even really need to tell them what the gift is. They're just so pumped that you're going to give them something for free that they're usually likely to be willing to help. And then the way this kind of works is around the middle of my virtual parties, I reach out to my hosts individually, challenging them to help me book parties. I instruct them to pick 5 people they would think would be great hosts like them, right? And explain to them how to create and send group messages on Facebook. I give them language to use to send to each potential host so that the lift on their end is minimal, and because then they're more likely to do it. And most importantly, I suggest who the 5 people could be, right? People who have ordered because they love our products, obviously. People who are active but maybe haven't ordered yet. Maybe a discounted and free product would be appealing to them, right? I also try to look for diversity and location, because this will help you get into different pockets of people and grow your overall business versus staying in the same vicinity and pocket of people from that specific party.
Great. Next, we're going to dive into one of the other really important pieces of getting bookings from bookings, and it's identifying rockstar guests. Now, remember, you can work with your host and they can help identify what some of those guests are, but specifically in virtual parties, understanding how people are engaging and watching the way people engage is one of the best ways you can also identify rockstar guests. So the slide I'm going to share here was shared last week in our Teach Me series on virtual party best practices. And so if you were on that webinar, some of this is repeat information, but let's think through it in terms of bookings. And for anyone who has joined the webinar that wasn't here at the start, one quick reminder, we are recording this, so all of Steve's great ideas can be watched in a playback later. And if you have any specific questions you want us to try to answer at the end, please put that in a Q&A. All right, so back to identifying rockstar guests during a party. When you think about the way you first start to engage with people in a party and you're building what that party format and party outline is, remember, what do you think is going to spark conversation? And I think right now is a really important time to think through what are the types of questions you would ask in a party right now. Is anyone struggling with trying to figure out another way to use chicken? Is anyone trying to find a meal or have a great vegetarian meal where if you can't get meat at the grocery store right now, what do you do? Right? And so you always want to make sure you're including engagement posts in your parties and games so that you start to get a response. Once guests comment, then you can reply back and they see that you're a real person as a consultant. You're there to help. It's almost like you're chatting face to face at that point. You can encourage guests then to private message you. And with recent changes to Facebook, this is important if you want to have a one-on-one conversation. So try asking guests to private message you if they're interested in learning more, kind of what Steve was saying. They want to know more. They want a recipe book or an ebook potentially, but start to build that one-on-one relationship with them. Rockstar guests tend to be those ones that are answering a lot of questions, really involved in some of the games that you might be playing. And these are also really good potential future hosts, right? Start building that relationship. And throughout the party, you can kind of find ways to identify opportunities for them in the future for hosting. But you really want to start to build that relationship first and then transition into one-on-one conversations to talk more about the benefits of hosting. So Steve, do you have other ways that you try to identify rockstar guests in parties and that you find is a good way to engage with them?
Yeah, it's a little similar, but they're basically, I look at them as people that are doing my job, right, as a consultant, right? So they're commenting on everything. They're sharing pictures of products they love and use. They're giving testimonials to how great a product is or some other hack that they use it for. Maybe they use, I'm trying to think of an example, but they may just have a different dual use of a product that you might be like, mind blown, like I did not even think of that, right? Or they added a bunch of their own friends to the party, right? Because that shows me that they have people that are interested in what we have to offer. And so they could probably have a great party of their own, or even want to have to be a consultant, right? Rockstar party guests make great hosts, but also consultants because they're just flat out passionate about our products.
Yeah, Steve, are there a couple, well, we'll go into it in the future, actually. Hang tight because we're going to show you what some of those engagement posts might look like in the future. One of the important things that we talk about in terms of getting bookings from Booking, Steve, is reaching out after the party. And I think this is one of the things where, you have a really great way that you reach out, and you've shared so many great ideas, even with home office. So do you want to share a little bit about how you reach out after the party?
Yeah, so this has been a game changer for me, especially in the past 2 to 3 weeks. The number of parties I've been able to book just from sending these, really it's customer care texts, right, has been great. So for those of you that have been around for a while and are doing virtual parties, you'll know that the message feature for many of us is now gone in our Facebook parties, in our groups from our business page, right, which is what we use to run our parties. For those of you who are new, you don't even know what I'm talking about. Just pretend like this is, you don't even know, right? A game changer for me in booking parties from parties now has been these texts. So the key here is that I'm leading in my reach out to them with service, right, first. I just want to read what this says because it gives you an idea of what I'm talking about. So, hey, Libby, this is Steve Nicole's Pampered Chef Consultant. I just wanted to say thank you for your order. You will love that deep cover baker. I would love to share some recipes via email that might be helpful with being stuck inside, doing more cooking now than ever. Would that interest you, right? So what I do each week is I make a list for each party on a good old piece of paper with, with a pen in my hand, with each person's name, cell phone, the largest ticket item they ordered, and then I will send these individual text messages, editing each to personalize the contact so it's thoughtful and personal. So as you can see, I put their name in, I put the host name in, I put a product they ordered in, right? That shows that they're not just another blanket thing I'm sending out. I am taking the time to personalize it. And then when they respond, and the overwhelming response I've been getting is crazy, right? I kind of was very surprised. I responded with, perfect, let me send a few recipes that I love. Question for you too, smiley face. A great way to not only collect these mealtime solutions at a time like this for you, but also for your friends and family is to host your own online party with me in late April. Not only do I do all of the work, but Libby will also get one item or set at half off. What do you think? It's a win-win for everyone, right? And I follow up with a link to the Pampered Chef blog. I usually will send healthy weeknight meals and side dishes. That's a specific blog that's on there right now, post. And this is not my idea, but make sure to go to your personal website and then click the blog and then click the blog, a link that you want. Because even if this person doesn't respond, or if they don't book a party, if they want Pampered Chef products, they're probably going to go to that link, which is connected to your personal website. And so you will make the commission on the sale that they make if they decide to purchase. And like I said, with anything, with bookings and really anything in this business, strength is in numbers. So when you you need to message 12 to 15 people to get one party booked. So one for the initial text, right? One for follow-up 2 days later, and one for another 2 days. So on that same list, when I have the columns of the people with their information, I have 3 little boxes to the right of each, right? So when I make the first text, check, then 2 days later, check, then 2 days later, check. And you want to do that within the week of the party ending because the excitement is there within that week after. They're still pumped. They're still coming off the high of all the recipes and the tips and the fun with their friends, right? So you really want to get them in the door and make a contact and relationship and engage with them as soon as possible and follow up within that same time period.
Yeah, and Steve, I imagine your wording has changed over time, right? Like the way that you've communicated, but it feels like you. Whenever I see any of your messages that you send, I know you in person, and your messages have that same energy and they have that same kind of, it almost feels like if I was talking to you in person, right?
Yeah, and that's the way you want to do everything, but really this too, because guys, people will buy Pampered Chef in spite of us. They will book, they will join our team, or they will say, I want Libby as my Pampered Chef lady because of us. Okay, so just, and think too, like we said before, what you do now affects your business 30, 60, 90 days. I said to you, I didn't sign up as a consultant for a whole year after the opportunity was shared, right? But eventually it happened. It's the same thing here. Maybe they purchase something and don't book, but maybe they reach out then 3 months later because they want more products and they don't want to pay full price for them.
Yep, that's great. Great. All right, so we talked a little bit about getting bookings from bookings within a party. We're going to talk a little bit about getting bookings outside a party. And what I think is actually interesting, I saw some questions coming in about how do you create engaging posts to get people to talk in parties. This section, we're actually talking about how to get bookings outside of a party and how to reach out. But a lot of what we're going to share here, I think, is actually really applicable to the ways you could engage within a party as well. So keep that in mind. So getting bookings outside a party, we talk about that other 20%, right? So if 80% of bookings happen within a party, there's still bookings that happen just because you're regularly engaging. And we're going to talk social media a lot here because of the shift to virtual businesses right now. But there are other ways to engage. So one of the key things that you can do to kind of start to generate interest in bookings is reaching out to past customers. So Steve, I know you have a couple examples of ways that you do this specifically around products.
Yeah, so for those of you who have had even 2 or 3 or 4 parties, or maybe 40, you have a big hot lead list and you don't even probably know it, okay? So you can pull reports of items from previous customers who ordered in a time period or a certain product and reach out via a customer connection email or text for past customers. I would again be really cognizant about personalizing the email or message, dropping the past host name that they were a part of and purchased in, put the highest ticket item that they may have ordered, and ask them how they're enjoying that specific product. And first, again, offer recipes, right? That be of interest to you. Lead with service, okay? For example, you could put in the item number for every piece of cookware in our line, right, from the website, in the search field if you're looking to book for May, right? Because in May, we know that the host special is 60% off of any one piece or set of cookware, right? And then it will pull up a whole list of everyone who ordered any piece of cookware within the specific time you designate. So you could reference perhaps the 8-inch nonstick pan someone bought, offer up recipes, and then ask them if they would like to add to their cookware line by hosting an online party with you in May. Right, pulling these types of reports gives you a treasure trove of people who you can follow up with and really kind of work to build your calendar.
That's a great idea. And that's a way to reach out to past customers, but they might not have been hosts, right? So that's another way to find new hosts. When you think about the opportunity to find new hosts, what Steve just described is a great way to do so, right? Because those are actually past customers. They don't always they might not have been a host prior, as well as, and this is something I always like to talk about, we shared that launch list at the beginning. When you're a new consultant and you're building out a launch list can be built at any time in your business, right? So we often talk about a launch list as that kind of thing you do when you're starting your business and saying who might be interested in Pampered Chef. But we often talk about at home office that sometimes it's nice to do a launch list every 6 months or when the situation changes. So for example, right now during the coronavirus situation, is there someone who may potentially be struggling to find meals and needs more ideas for recipes, and you see them sharing that on social media? You might have some new people on your launch list right now who you really think you can provide solutions to currently. And then finally, utilizing social media is a great way to get bookings outside of a party. And so Steve is going to spend quite a bit of time here sharing what some of his ideas are for how he really starts to generate interests in bookings, just utilizing social media as well as kind of text messaging and some of those more digital formats. Steve?
Yeah, so again, some of these ideas are ones I saw and tweaked. Some of them are my own. Some of them are people from my team. So again, just want to make sure that it's just a wide array from all the different people, right? So guys, your friends and family are living online right now. Like if you thought they were glued to their phones before, it's like times 10, okay? Because that's just where we are right now. And utilizing your social media is a smart way to generate interest in our hosting opportunity now more than ever. However, you don't want to use desperation language, okay? I've been challenged to book 4 parties. I need to book parties now, please, please, please. Those are not good ways to lead with service, and it will turn people off, right? And it can be hard for new consultants because sometimes that's kind of where we immediately go, right? As you know, we have a brand new catalog that just came out for spring. So an idea you could do is you could post on your personal Facebook wall or business page something like this with a fun graphic. Hey everyone, I know so many of you are cooking at home and looking for ideas who would love a copy of our new Spring Pampered Chef catalog and a few recipe cards to get you inspired. Comment me and I'll mail one out to you. And when someone engages in the post, you can follow up with language like, hey Jessica, so excited to share our new spring catalog with you as well as some awesome recipe cards. Would you be interested in hosting an online party with me as well? It's super easy and a great way to share lots of recipes, tips, and tricks with your friends who are cooking at home now more than ever. Not to mention, it's a fun way for you to gather online with everyone. I have this date or this date to start. April hosts can earn 60% off of our quick cooker or deluxe cooking blender in addition to extra free products. What do you think? As for the recipes you include, if you're physically mailing something, right, maybe you don't want to go to the post office right now, which makes sense. You can go to Consultant's Corner and you can screenshot recipes from the e-cookbooks found there and print and paste them onto cardstock to send out. And I don't know if you knew this, but you can actually print prepaid mailing labels off of USPS so that you can literally put it in your mailbox with a little flag up. They can pick it up and send it out. You don't have to go anywhere, right? Or you can simply message them recipes from, again, your blog. And then some other examples of fun engagement posts you can post on your wall or in your business page that I've seen, and some of them are my ideas, include who is stuck at home with kiddos for the next 2 weeks, because we know people with kids are going crazy right now, okay? Drop a gift below that will best describe how things will go down, so you'll get engagement there, or list 3 ingredients in your refrigerator or pantry and I'll find a recipe for you, right? These are just, again, different entry points to your business based on what is happening in real time versus book a party, I need a party, book a party, please, etc. Right? Yeah, so those are a couple ideas.
Great idea, Steve. And then we're going to spend a little bit of time here. Hopefully, we'll have some time for questions at the end, but we're going to talk about types of parties to book as well. So Steve, one of the things you told me when we were talking last week is about, it's not just one type of party that you're offering, it's a variety. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's really important that you have like an arsenal, right? Like a toolkit of party offerings right now, but really guys, always, because you may have been taught to do virtual parties a certain way. I do them a certain way that I prefer, but in this environment, like someone that maybe all of a sudden has a lot of children at home and has now become a teacher, right, because of e-learning, they don't have 6 days to focus and be in and out of an online party. But I could say to them, hey, Libby, if that doesn't work, would a 15-minute texting party, which we'll talk about later, would that be more suitable to the time you have right now? If you have a myriad of options to offer, it's just a way to overcome the objection that someone might have that really is just an objection, right? That needs to be overcome versus a hard stop, no, do not pass go, do not collect $200, right? Business isn't business as usual right now, and you just need to plan to be prepared.
Yeah, absolutely. And so some of what home office does is we say, what are some good options that we could help with in terms of types of parties? So at the beginning, of course, I mentioned fundraisers. Fundraisers are great for a few different reasons. Obviously, we're doubling our donation to Feeding America and Food Banks Canada for any parties that are hosted right now. Fundraisers are also good. We have product sales a few products that if people purchase products, a percentage of this product, $1 for each contribution, helps provide meals for people. You can round up contributions. You can help customers say at the end of a party, do you want to round up your order? And so Feeding America fundraisers and Food Banks Canada fundraisers, these Round Up from the Heart fundraisers that home office offers, are certainly one option. But and as we actually updated our fundraiser task in Dash as well. So if anyone hasn't taken that yet and wants to understand more about how to set up a fundraiser and what this looks like, I would highly recommend going to Dash and looking for the fundraiser task, as well as looking at the monthly focus from today that also will point you to the right resources to answer some of these questions about fundraisers. But Steve, you were even talking about fundraisers and kind of how you have been approaching fundraisers for your business right now too.
Yeah, so as you heard, online fundraisers are something I actually, I've done them, aside from the situation we have right now, for various things like animal shelters and band groups and all sorts of different kinds of groups that, are raising money. I run them similarly to my online parties, but encourage the host or fundraiser contact to post at least once a day about the organization or charity for which you are working to raise funds, such as what the mission is, the great accomplishments they've achieved, and what the funds are actually going to support. You can post something like this on your personal Facebook wall or on your business page. And for the purpose of time, you can always watch this back to see the, but basically talking about how I'm starting a charity chain. I want to get one going below. Let us know what charity is near and dear to your heart to bring awareness. And then, of course, mentioning that Pampered Chef loves to support charities. You can host a fundraiser virtual event with me. Up to 15% of the event sales will be given to the charity of your choice. And that's the baseline fundraiser contribution from Pampered Chef for fundraisers that are not feeding America right now. And then, of course, you follow up with a personalized message once they engage on your post. Thanks for sharing your favorite charity. I always like to be made more aware of what organizations are out there that need help. If you're all interested, I'd love to work with you on providing for your charity. But then, of course, mentioning Pampered Chef also, we'll donate 10 to 15% of your guest sales to your charity. It's a great way, and your friends are cooking at home more than ever, et cetera.
Yeah, and Steve, another party that you said you're doing a lot, yeah, you called it Cabin Fever. We've called it Pantry Kitchen. There's a few different ways to talk about this, but you're at home, you're cooking more. So talk to us about that type of party.
Yeah, so Home Office has some great resources now on the website under marketing imagery related to the idea of a pantry-focused virtual party. Like Libby said, like, let's just face it, there are certain things that if you try to go to the store, you are not going to find them. And so you got to get creative. People are, just real life. Everybody has to get creative, right? With a myriad of things in terms of meals. And so recipes offered as a part of this kind of party include sweet potato casserole, baked oatmeal, tomato basil soup, like easy breezy things, couple ingredients, not breaking the bank and not really hard for the people that don't know how to cook, who now have to cook. You could curate a 5-day pantry party, for example, where you go live each day making a specific recipe and then highlight the tools you use to make each dish. People will love the distraction of seeing someone else cooking that is not them live, pulling things out of your pantry just like they are doing every day to get a meal on the table for their family. So that's just one idea.
That's great. Another thing that we've heard from some of our consultants is cooking with kids. Kids are home, right? And so you talked a little bit about this, Steve, ideas for cooking with kids parties.
Yeah, so think about all the kids that are home now, right, for the foreseeable future. When kids cook, everyone has fun and they learn about following directions, cooking skills, food safety, nutrition, math, reading, science, and motor skills. And they just have a lot of fun. And honestly, it's like, I see so many parents on Facebook posting like, I made a schedule for my children for today, right? And every day. And so wouldn't it be cool if one of the things on the schedule was family cooking together or something like mealtime, right? It's just something that is a different thing to do during the day. And honestly, guys, the younger someone starts cooking in the kitchen, the more likely they are to cook into adulthood. So it has all sorts of health benefits. Back when, now later on when we can go to restaurants and eating out, they're going to be more likely to want to cook at home. And with the Cooking Kids virtual party, you can provide personalized ideas for customers with kids based on their food interests and even age group of the kids, right? So marketing imagery has the entire collection of all these different ideas, but you could structure a virtual party around this idea like this. You set up a Facebook event or a group, right? You choose 5 recipes, kind of like what I said before for the pantry party. You provide recipes and ingredient lists ahead of time, and then you do a live cooking demo, right? Some of you may be nervous about going live, but this is the perfect time to get over the fear of going live and just bite the bullet, because people are online looking for somebody to watch going live, right? They just are. So that's another example of a party you can offer with kids.
Yeah, a great idea. And then finally, I think one of the ideas that we were sort of already seeing, and some people have been saying this in the chat, Steve, which is, those, someone said, someone reached out and said, I just want ideas for recipes that don't take, 50 items like the ones I'm finding on Pinterest. So you had talked about sort of that easy meals party, certainly something that you've seen customers and potential hosts interested in right now.
Yeah, so this is a great idea from one of my team members, but it's the same kind of idea. I used to do this idea of like one pot meal, 1 hour parties. So like, again, this is for the person that can't be online in and out of an online party for 6 days, but maybe they can be online for an hour. And I've done them before, and they are as successful as the other ones that are 6 days, as long as the experience is thoughtful, curated, it makes sense, it's engaging, right? We talked about being authentic. So for that hour, you would have an engagement post. Then you might have the first meal with the recipe. You would have the tools that they could use or purchase to create that meal, and then continue down the line and follow up with additional 4 other meals. And again, you want to pick things that have a few ingredients, so it's not a lot of heavy lift for the person that's that's in the party, right? And you could do this really, really easy on a weeknight or a weekend night, because it really doesn't matter at this point when you do it. And it's just a great way to kind of show off these easy meals. And back when I did the one pot meal party, I went live with my quick cooker. If you don't have a quick cooker, you can go live with maybe something that came in the kit if you purchased one of the 3 kits that have products, and just kind of show off why you're excited about it. What are you cooking with it? When before I used to use the grill pan and just show great grill marks, right? People love that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Great ideas. And I love that idea, Steve. You talked about a lot of different party types, and not all of them are even the same. Typically Steve does 6-ish day parties on Facebook, but here's some other options, right? A 1-hour party, you go live. And I think for some of those consultants who like to do in-person parties, a quick 1-hour party like this is a great way to transition into the virtual environment, because that's essentially the same sort of time commitment. You go live, you share the recipe, and then you do that follow-up afterwards, that customer care. You're just doing it digitally. So we could talk probably for a long time about other ideas for party types, but we don't have that much time today. We have less than 10 minutes left. I do highly recommend, if you haven't been to the Plan a Party page on Consultants Corner within Marketing Imagery, where you can see some of the resources that we talked about here. So on this page, you can see direct links to some of the themes we talked about today: cooking with kids, pantry cooking, but there's a lot of themes available from home office, as well as on this page, kind of an overview of what a virtual party outline could look like to help get you started, or even just jog some ideas for you, right? There's a lot of party types that you could offer, but like Steve said, what's really important right now is to think through all the different types of parties, that arsenal, he said, right, that you may want to offer to people, and think through exactly what your friends, your contacts, and your past customers or hosts might be interested in doing right now. So Steve, we've got about 5 minutes left. You had some other kind of tips from the top that I called, right, which is just some more of your ideas in terms of how to get bookings, and just some advice for those on the call. So if you want to share some of those now, I think that would be great.
Yeah, I'll dive in and go real quick so we have some question time. But one thing I just want to say is, you guys want to be making contact every single day, right? A contact is considered reaching out to someone via text, email, Facebook Messenger, whatever, and getting a response back. I think sometimes we say contact and then we're like, oh, we messaged them, we didn't hear anything. It has to be a two-way street, right? You want a two-way street. You want to get some sort of response back. For a while now, consultants have been encouraged to make 25 contacts a week, 5 a day, 5 days of the week, right? With this environment, my tip would be to stretch yourself and commit to making 35, right? Just 2 more a day, easy, or well, yeah, 2 more a day. You may hear more no's, but that's okay. You want to go for the no, because that will get you one step closer to the next yes. And guys, this business, it's a numbers game, right? The more people you ask, the more shows you'll book, and the stronger your calendar will be. And then the other thing I wanted to go over was focusing on engagement. You heard this from Libby and I throughout this, but in your parties, you want to make guests think. Try out different questions or games that get guests thinking and chatting with each other. For example, what do you love most about our host? What's your favorite weekday meal? Okay, make guests smile, right? Share a GIF and ask others to share too. For example, you can ask guests to post a GIF of the face they make when their families ask what's for dinner, right? And then you want to solve problems. Ask a question that positions you as the expert that has the solution. For example, what keeps you from cooking every night? Based on guest responses, you can offer suggestions for easy recipes or products that can help. And then change it up, right? Did you know that photos get higher than average engagement, and videos get the most engagement of all post types? And it can be easy. Just take pictures or videos of what you're already doing in the kitchen, when you're trying a new product, when you're making dinner for your family, when you're trying out a new recipe. Don't get all dolled up, right? Be in your sweats with your hair up, perhaps, with all the kids around. Like, that's the real authentic stuff people want to see. Or make a plan to go live when you're doing any of those things, right? And then lastly, ask genuine questions. When you share products or recipes or food tips, keep guests engaged by asking a question. For example, ask whether guests knew about a certain tip, or share what they would make with the product you're featuring. You want to avoid, though, certain words that are considered engagement bait, like vote, like this, share, tag a friend, or comment. Using these kind of terms can be problematic for Facebook. I love to use the phrases engage below or sound off, right?
Good one.
To kind of move the needle and get people and to be in line with Facebook standards, right? So those are a couple tips.
That's great. So many ideas. We do have an activity. So here's what I want to do. We have 5 minutes left. I'm sure there were some questions that came in. So while Danny and Jackie and Kylie kind of pull some of the most common questions, one of the things I would love to see, I love the idea sharing, is to share in the chat one thing you learned today that you'll try, or maybe something that you've been trying in the last few weeks as kind of the situation has been changing. Maybe you're changing up your parties a little bit, and share those ideas in the chat for everyone. While you do that, I'll see if the team here, if any sort of common questions kept coming through that maybe we can take a few minutes to answer here at the end. Jackie, do you have any? You're on mute if you are trying to share.
This is Danny. I'm going to chime in with one. I think one of the most common questions we're seeing is, what do you do if somebody does not respond at all? Maybe you've seen that they saw your message and you don't know what to do after there.
Yeah, so I will always follow up with someone a minimum of 3 times, right? But again, the first time when you follow up, you kind of have that language that says, I'm a new consultant. I'm looking to share lots of recipes, tips and tricks, and amazing products from Pampered Chef. The second reach out would say, hey, Libby, I just wanted to circle back with you. I didn't want to drop the ball. If you did indeed want to take advantage of this amazing hosting opportunity and get 60% off of our deluxe cooking blender or our quick cooker, when people are in their homes cooking now more than ever. And the third time I reach out, I would say, hey, Libby, just wanted to ping you one more time. I assume that until you tell me no, you want to book a show. So please let me know either way, because I'm not in the business of bugging people. That's what I would say. And then after the third time, you want to take a break, I would say, from asking. And then maybe again, 6 months down the line, you're looking at your launch list or your friends on Facebook, and then maybe there's just an amazing special that you want to offer that they might be interested in, and then you could circle back again. But I would say reach out at least 3 times. But again, for every 12 to 15 people you message, you'll get 1 party. So you got to think about how wide of a net you need to be casting, just regularly.
Yeah, great tips. Consistent follow-up, right? Steve, I think you're so good at that, and you've been so good about sharing that practice with your team. What else, Jackie?
Yeah, so I think one of the questions that we were getting a lot, Steve, and I'm going to first answer 2 things for everyone, is everyone's like, Steve, where are you going to share your bingo card? And the reason I'm going to answer this is I'm going to do this to help just reinforce some best practices. Everyone will get a playback of this today. And so you'll be able to see the slides again, and you can see what that bingo card looks like. We aren't going to share Steve's bingo card widely because, again, we want to do the best thing to protect him and his organization with Facebook restrictions. So we're going to ask you to take that idea, kind of make it your own, and perhaps if we have leaders on this group, maybe you want to make one for your teams to use, but we won't be sharing those exactly because of those Facebook restrictions. And then second is we've had a lot of people ask, where can I find e-cookbooks? Steve mentioned that as a tool. We're going to take that feedback back to the team on how we can make those a little bit more easily accessible. I know that, for example, there is one for the veggie spiralizer if you go on .com and look at that product, but it sounds like you're wanting easier access to that, so we're going to take that as a take back for us.
Yeah, that's great. And Steve, we've only got like 1 minute left, so maybe you could share one last key tip for bookings with the group before we wrap up today. I put him on the spot.
No, it's okay. So one thing I would say is we talked about engagement a lot, and in my parties, I have a lot of posts that have a relationship to products. And if you could, for example, if you could get any one item or set in the catalog for free, what would it be? Engage below. So what that does is that gives you an entry point, and it gives you permission to offer our service to help them get that product that they mention at a discount or for free by hosting, versus almost a cold ask, right? They're telling you, I love the quick cooker for free. I'm telling you, we have the quick cooker and you can get it definitely for 60% off, but maybe free if you party with me, right? And so what I would do then is you could also have a post that was, you know, which rock crock would rock your world, where I have all of the rock crocks there and I have them, you know, engage below with which one they would love to have in their kitchen. And again, then I use that as an entry point to be able to contact them to engage and hopefully start a discussion and hopefully book a party. And the way that you do that, you're probably wondering, well, how do I get directly contacted to them? What I say is I tag them in the comment and I say, at Libby, check your message request folder hiding in your inbox, because if they're not friends with you, they can't see the messages readily. They don't just pop into your inbox, they go to a special folder. And when they find that folder, hopefully they will then engage with you. But again, it is the, for every 12 to 15 people you do that with, you'll get one party book. So it's just another way, another entry point, another way to offer and get permission to offer what we have to offer with our products.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Steve. Thank you to Steve just for joining us today for our Teach Me webinar. So many great ideas. Again, we will be sharing a playback for this webinar. Thank you to all of you for the way that you are working with your customers, your hosts, and trying to provide solutions right now for people who need it the most. Thank you for joining our webinar today, for spending some time with us here at Home Office. It's always great to see so many names and so many people joining our webinars. Look for the playback, share this with others who you think would benefit from it. I know there's lots of people out there who would benefit from Steve's ideas and seeing some of our home office resources. You all are fantastic. We're so glad to have you part of the Pampered Chef family. And I hope you all have a really, really great April. Okay? All right.
Happy booking.
Happy booking.